Hi, are you struggling with English grammar and thinking how can I improve my grammar? If your answer is yes, then don't miss watching this video because otherwise you're going to miss how to improve your grammar by just learning 7 tips. Yes, you heard me, just 7 tips and you will be good to go. And these tips are incredibly effective if you follow them, and also I will be covering how you can improve your grammar by listening, reading and speaking. And let's see what is acceptable and unacceptable in grammar and how to break some rules. Yes, you heard me. Anyway, let's get started on how to improve your grammar just in few minutes. Number 1. Get language exposure. That you can do by listening and reading. These are the 2 effective ways you can improve your English and grammar. I also mentioned this in my previous video on how you can improve your English. So if you haven't watched the video, please go ahead in the description box or click the link to watch the video later. So reading and listening are the best way to improve your grammar. Listen to videos, podcasts. Matter of fact, there are tons of videos on learning English on YouTube. Second is reading. Read as much as you can and whenever you can. That's how you can get language exposure, which is hugely important. Number 2, grammar. Use grammar. Now, the best way to improve your grammar is to use grammar. That sounds a bit funny, but it's true. When I say use the grammar, I mean use the grammar you learn in the books, in the class, or try to use it by yourself by questioning yourself and talking to yourself. This is incredibly effective way of improving your grammar, especially in speaking. Number 3. Speak to yourself. Yes, speak to yourself. This might sound a bit weird, but speaking to yourself is a super effective way of improving your grammar and English. So what happens when you speak to yourself, when you talk to yourself, you are practicing in your mind and structuring sentences in a way you want them to use, which makes you confident and helps you to speak out your thoughts. Secondly, how and what exactly should I speak to myself? For instance, you take a word or any new vocabulary you learned. Then try to make sentences in a way you think you can or want to say using that particular word. So imagine a picture, you are with your friends and you are speaking to them. Now start making sentences using the vocabulary you learned. And when you practice this, make sure you build many sentences possible in different scenarios. Number 4, reading and listening, not by speaking. When I say reading and listening, I mean literally reading and listening. Don't try to start focusing on something else. Reading you can practice by speaking out a bit loud. For instance, personally, we tend to read without using our real voice. We read in our mind, but I want you to read out loud so that you can hear yourself. In a case, you can practice your reading and also build accent, and you will be able to hear how you sound and also whether you are pronouncing words correctly or not. Next, listening. You can practice your listening by watching YouTube English channel like this one, or other English channels and watch English videos. Not necessarily English learning videos, but you can watch other videos, movies and podcasts in English language. And please, when you watch movies or videos, make sure you don't turn on the subtitle. So I understand some people say that help me to understand the words, or I will get to know the word in my language. That's the first mistake you make, because when you do that, you totally divert your focus from learning English and just start to understand English in your first language. So that's not how you practice listening or learn a language. Anyway, in listening, it's usually the connecting sounds you need to get familiar with, and once you start to listen more and more, it will become very easy for you to understand. Remember, the first tip is to get exposure. Therefore, just try to practice listening. Number 5. In grammar, think in terms of acceptable or unacceptable. This is very important one, and this is something I want you to focus on more. Don't be fixated on what you learned in the grammar books. Don't be like this is right and you should use only this way, which will stop you to be open and accept the changes. And also don't be like what is right or what is wrong. Instead of that, think about what is acceptable or unacceptable, especially in speaking, because some of the people, they clearly go for clear-cut answers. However, there is no clear-cut answer in grammar. There are always exceptions. Therefore, go for what is acceptable or unacceptable rather than what is wrong or right. Because if you do so, you will find very difficult overcoming your grammar fear. For instance, we use subjunctive with second conditional, if I were, if he were. But in informal colloquial speech, you will hear people saying, if I was. So, if you were fixated on what you learned, then you might have problems over there. Therefore, instead of going after what is right or what is wrong, look at a bigger picture, whether it's acceptable or unacceptable. Nevertheless, if something is unacceptable, you should definitely avoid using that. In a nutshell, English language is the fastest evolving language on planet Earth. Therefore, it's hard to give clear-cut answers in grammar in yes or no. Number 6. Rules. There are so many rules in learning grammar, and some people are very studious to stick to those rules. But remember, rules are meant to be broken. Number 7. Last tip, but the best one is, don't let grammar to be a blockage in your journey of learning English. Everyone makes mistakes, nobody is perfect in this world, so don't mull over it, embrace those mistakes and try to improve them. In a nutshell, you cannot learn all the grammar and claim to be perfect in English language. Even the native of English, most of the times don't stick with grammar so much. Therefore, focus on just learning normally rather than focusing on one skill set of the language, and I'm solidly sure this will help you. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and I hope this will help you to improve or overcome your grammar fear, because I see most of the people who are learning English as a second or third language, they are much more scared of making grammar mistakes, which becomes the blockage, and that's where everything starts to go down the hill. In a nutshell, speak without thinking of making mistakes, and remember, no one in this world is perfect, and you might make mistakes once or twice, but eventually you will learn the right way. So never let anything to be a blockage in your English learning. Bye bye, I'll see you in my next video.